So this is really exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Jay Hind from the Guide Liverpool. And with me is a good mate of mine and someone that I'm sure that you know as well, Laura from Laura's Little Bakery. And we're here to celebrate and talk about and shout about a great local charity that we all know, Clare House Children's Hospice. Laura, how are you doing? How's lockdown life treating you first off?
It's been extremely busy, as you well know. Very. It's been the busiest time I've ever had. So in one respect, you know, it's been a really good thing for me in terms of, well, actually being able to pay the bills and, you know, keeping my head out of all the negative stuff. But it has been extremely busy. So I am looking forward to a holiday in my house very soon.
It's the only place we can go on holiday right now, isn't it? But
it is, but that'll do me.
It'll do you. Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Clare House, Laura. That's why we're here today, and we're going to be talking more about that in just a little bit with something really special from Laura as well. But you've supported that charity for so many years, haven't you? What is it that kind of draws you close to Clare House?
Well, I think, you know, when you hear of the stories, you know, and how hard the staff work and, you know, the children and babies that they help day in, day out, you know, it's just something that's very close to my heart. I've got 4, you know, well, I say children, you know, 2 to 20, but I've got 4 kids and, you know, it's your worst nightmare, anything happening to them, you know, but these are children, you know, who are very seriously ill. And anything that you can do to kind of try and help raise funds to keep that place going, you've just got to do it. You know, it's a very important service, and they're superheroes, all of them. They really are. So yeah, I mean, it's just simple, isn't it? Really, anything you can do to help, you do, and that's why we're here.
That is why we're here, and we're here for a reason. So normally there would be the Clare House Butterfly Bake round about this time of year. Normally happens March, April time. They can't do it in person this year, so instead we're bringing you it virtually. So thank you for checking us out. Keep sharing this video because it's all about raising awareness and hopefully raising some money as well for Clare House. But we're doing it in a really fun way. Laura's got a big old recipe book behind her in that kitchen of hers, and she never ever opens it to anyone else. So we're really lucky today. We're going to be sharing some of those recipes with you. Laura, this year is big for you because you don't give away your recipes because, you know, you're one of the most successful bakers in the city. It's not like you're tight or not, but you want to keep them to yourself. But today you are unveiling some of these recipes, aren't you?
I'm certainly not tight there. And to be fair, if anyone has asked me in the past for recipes, I do not mind helping people whatsoever. But in general, you know me, I don't tend to kind of do live videos or anything like that, really. I'm just too busy actually in the kitchen using them recipes for all the cakes that are getting shipped out. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to share this recipe, and hopefully it'll get a lot of families baking together and making some delicious bakes. Okay,
so we're gonna do an Easter cookie, aren't we?
We are indeed. Yeah, it's quite a simple recipe, to be fair. A very kind of adaptable recipe, so it doesn't have to be mini eggs. We can do different things, but it's a simple recipe that anyone will be able to do. I hope, and yeah, hopefully people have fun making them.
Okay, so we're going to do that actual butterfly bake. We're with these Easter cookies in just a little bit. But listen, we're going to come back and get this recipe and some more tips and hints and stuff for people watching at home. We really want you to try this recipe as well and share your pictures with us. Tag in Clare House, tag in the guide, tag in Laura's Little Bakery, and we'll share the pictures across the weekend. But right now, let's find out more about why we're here, why we're doing this today with the brilliant Dan Halliday from Clare House.
For everyone, it's been really challenging. It's been tough from a care point of view, Jay. Nothing's changed. If anything, you know, we've increased what we're doing out there in the community. It's as you know what Clare House is all about. It's so important that we're there for local kids and families. And over the last 12 months, we've looked after it's over 400 families. So that kind of gives the scale of the amount of people that we're caring for. From a fundraising point of view, as with all charities, it's been challenging. We have a lot of support from retail, hospitality, events. People running marathons, and with all that stopping, we've seen a significant drop in certain areas. But at Clare House, we're fortunate that we have so many people wanting to support us, and whether that's playing the lottery or whatever different aspect of fundraising, we've had good support, which has kept us ticking over. But the main thing is just that we're there, and we've adapted our care, and a lot of it's been out in the community, in people's homes and stuff like that. So it's changed, but we're still going, and that's what we're here for.
It's funny, isn't it? Because Liverpool seems to have really pulled together in terms of keeping our charities, that support going. They've done it great for local business, but charities as well, haven't they, over the past 12 months?
Yeah, absolutely. And Liverpool's like no other place, really. We kind of look after ourselves, we support one another, and that's been key for us. And it's important things like this where we can come on and speak to you to explain what we're doing, just so people know what we're doing. And we've just been about engaging with people, telling people what Clare House is about, what we've been doing, and yeah, that's been key for I think for all charities as well.
Well, what's the next 12 months looking like, Dan? Because obviously we want to get back to some form of normality. So can families still use the facilities as was?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that'll never stop at Clare House, and however we get there, we'll get there. We will do whatever needs doing to be able to help these families who need us most. So over the next 12 months, we always want to carry on growing and just helping more children and families. That's always our aim, and our dream is to help every single one of them. So we can't hold off on that. We can't let up, and because of a pandemic, we just can't stop. So over the next 12 months, further, we just need to keep going, and as the only way we can do that is by the support of the local community. So and that's not just for us as well, that's for all charities. So whoever you support out there, go and do something for them and really get behind them and support them, because they'll need you now more than ever, particularly over the next 2-3 years.
Okay, listen, mate. Today is all about the butterfly bake. We've got Laura from Laura's Little Bakery prepped and ready to go. He did want me to get involved in this, did Dan? But yeah, I wasn't willing to put my kitchen through the chaos that would have came if I tried to bake. Tell us what the butterfly bake is all about, Dan, and why it's so important.
So the butterfly bake, we started a couple of years back, and obviously we planned to do it last year as well, but everything kicked off, and we pulled the plug on it, really. So this year we've gone virtual, but historically we've done it's essentially cake sales in the workplace, with schools. Everyone and anyone can get involved with it. So the virtual butterfly bake is exactly that. We want people to do it in their homes. Go online, donate a few quid. But the main thing about the butterfly bake is it's an opportunity for us to shine a spotlight on what our butterfly team do at Clare House. So, sadly, once a child's passed away, we work with that family. We support that family through what is the most difficult time. But that's done by our amazing team in the Butterfly Suite. But what they do over there is it's so important. So the butterfly bake is really an opportunity for us to tell people. I mean, last year alone, we looked after 95 families who used that butterfly suite.
Wow.
So, and that's not necessarily just at the hospice as well. It's also out in people's homes in the community. We need to be there for all these families and these children at that time. So that's what we use this butterfly bake as a vehicle to kind of talk about that. And if people want to donate and they want to go online, or they want to make cakes and they want to do whatever they want, they can visit our website, really, and have a look at what they can do around that. But yeah, the butterfly bake, I mean, I can't make anything to save my life. I'd get in touch with Laura and say, in fact, Laura actually, she gave some cakes to our nurses way back in the first lockdown as well. So, but yeah, I'm no good at making cakes. So either give Laura a call or, do whatever, go to Asda, buy one of those logs,
Pre-made.
whatever they're called. Yeah, that's what I'd do anyway.
Well, listen, mate, it'd be great today if people can drop a couple of quid onto that website. Just look for Clare House on Google. We'll share all the links as well underneath this post. Dan, just finally, mate, what's your message to Merseyside today? What would you like to say to the people who've supported Clare House and who will continue to do so?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's a massive, for everyone who supports Clare House and supported whatever charity they have done, not just Clare House, because there's so many local charities who need us. A massive thank you. And, you know, what we all do individually is so important for our local community, and we won't exist without all these supporters, whether they are schools, businesses, whoever, doing whatever. So thank you, and really I'd urge them to keep going and still support their charity and also still support local businesses, the likes of Laura. You know, it's so important that these guys are supported, and I think we'll get through this, and Liverpool will thrive after this if we all get out there and support one another.
So there he goes, Mr. Dan Halliday. Do you know what? A proper love. I really do admire Dan's passion for that charity. He's been there for so long, but also for Liverpool as well. And he's always out and about at the events that we tend to be at. And it's great to see him back on camera talking about Clare House. He said some really interesting stuff there, Laura, about Liverpool and how the city and how Merseyside has come together. You've seen that firsthand over the past 12 months, haven't you?
Oh, God, yeah. I've seen it for many, many years. It's, it doesn't matter what gets thrown at any of us, we all kind of tend to come together. The community in Liverpool is unreal. Even just I've seen it with small businesses that are cropping up, and they'll say to me, God, the amount of support I'm getting is just unbelievable. Everyone's just, sharing my stuff, retweeting stuff, sharing stories on Instagram. Just in general with things like that. But I mean, we've seen firsthand the amount of money that's been raised, the food that's, been shared, it's just endless, isn't it? It doesn't surprise me, but, it warms the heart endlessly, doesn't it?
It's so weird seeing stuff pop up on your phone from a year ago and seeing posts that you've put out, or, I was doing one last year. We launched that directory on the guide, which was all about local business. And that was a year ago last week. To think what's happened in that year. Like, I've made mates from people that I never knew I'd be friends with, who were business owners in the city. And it's been a real kind of community feel, and everyone having each other's back. And the amount of advice that I've got off other business owners and people is incredible. Me and you have spoke a lot about that. People have just looked after each other, and that's what we're good at in Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable. I was the same. I've seen a couple of posts crop up, and it was actually quite emotional to look back on it, because I was really in such a, turmoil that first week, when I really didn't know whether I was going to be able to pay my bills. You will know, but my partner had just left his job to come and help with the business. It was, a very, very scary time for everybody. So to look back on those posts, as you say, and then to see what's happened in the past 12 months is unreal. It's crazy, isn't it?
We live in a great, great part of the world, and we must never, ever forget that, because it has been really heartwarming. Clare House there, obviously seeing pictures of Clare House and speaking to Dan, it kind of brings it home again. And it's that feeling, isn't it, where you think, we moan about the slightest, smallest, littlest thing. And to think what, not just the people who use Clare House and who go there every day in terms of taking children, which is obviously horrendous, but what the staff must go through, and what they must see, and what they must take home. You take that for granted, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is what I'm saying. They are superheroes. You like, Tom will say to me, "Oh God, you work so hard, blah blah blah," and I'm like, I'm baking cakes. These people are doing unreal things, the things that I could never ever imagine, to go through. And it's just top level stuff, isn't it? It's just different level, and they're unreal. They're unbelievable. They are superheroes. They just are.
And that butterfly sweet is what today is all about, the butterfly bake, kind of raising awareness for that. We're going to put all the info for the butterfly sweet, how you can support it. And even if people can just offer up a couple of quid today, and I know it's really tight for everyone right now, but it'd be great to raise some money off the back of this, get people baking, sharing pictures, but get some cash in for Clare House as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've got a lot of Easter orders going out in the next few weeks, and the cookies that we're gonna share now, I'm gonna donate a percentage of that to the charity. So hopefully we'll raise a little bit of money for them as well with that.
And these are the cookies. I'm gonna get one out. That is thick. Look at that. And I've just been told by Laura's other half, if you were to put that in the microwave for 10 seconds, you get that full kind of cookie dough experience as well. So these are the Easter cookies. You can order them online from Laura. A percentage of that will go to Clare House, as she said. Well, fill us in, Laura. Let us into the secret behind these beautiful looking things. Give us the recipe and tell us where you'd start to try and create these.
Well, to be honest, this is quite a simple recipe. Cookies are not one of the most difficult things to bake, that's for sure. But I mean, the utensils that you need, you don't particularly need a mixer. Obviously, I've got a stand mixer because I bake in volume. But if you've got a little hand mixer, or you could even just use a spatula and a bowl, it will work.
Can you use a NutriBullet to do that type of mixing? Because I tried it the other week with someone, and it didn't really go to plan. It was my pancake mix when I was doing pancakes on Pancake Tuesday. Is that a different type of mixer?
I mean, I admire
me efforts.
Your will to succeed there, but there is such a thing as over mixing, and that's exactly what that would do.
It cost me about 40 quid, that NutriBullet. I've only ever used it to make pancakes, which I failed miserably at. So NutriBullet out, we need a normal mixer.
Yeah, so you pretty much just need a bowl, a spatula, a hand mixer if you've got one, or your standalone mixer is fine as well. Your weighing scales and some bowls to have your different ingredients in. So the main ingredients that you need is butter. So here's a top tip. I never use unsalted butter. And you will see on every single recipe, unsalted butter. And I never use it. It's just, I don't understand it. It's, salt makes everything great. So,
a bit like decaf coffee, isn't it? What's the point?
Yeah. It's just, but I mean, if you're trying to cut your salt out, great, use it. But for me, it's always salted butter. So 150 grams of granulated sugar, 1 large egg, vanilla. I don't tend to use vanilla a lot these days because it's so expensive. And as far as I'm concerned, if you've got a good cake recipe, it's not particularly needed. But if you're just doing a one-off bake, then it's not going to cost you that much money.
So is that vanilla essence, is it?
Yeah, well, vanilla extract is what I used to use a lot of, but it is so expensive these days. It's crazy. But you can just buy the little vanilla essences from Tesco's, and that would be absolutely fine. Plain flour, baking powder, bicarb, and what's the last one? Chocolate.
So you'll be able to see all of Laura's kind of ingredients and stuff on screen as she's talking, so we can see those ingredients now. We've got the measurements as well, Laura. How important is it to stick to these measurements? Because this is where I always go wrong with stuff like this. So, in terms of your amount of flour and stuff, is that vital that you stick to that?
Very vital. Yeah, this isn't cooking. When you cook, you can, throw everything into the pan, can't you? And it doesn't really matter because you can taste as you go along. Baking, not the one. It's, it is a science, and you've got to be. This is why when people say they can't bake, the recipes always fail. It's because they do what you do, Jay. They just take notes. So yeah, if I say, 1 egg, it's 1 egg. If I say 150 grams of flour, it's 150 grams of flour, not 200.
That's where I go wrong. That is where I mess it up.
It's a science, and I think I do honestly believe baking's easy as long as you follow those recipes to the letter. Okay. So you've got to be strict with this.
Big tip there. Okay. Yeah. So we've got our ingredients. What's next?
So you start with the butter and sugar. That goes on kind of medium whisk, or if you're doing it by hand, you're gonna have to get stuck in there with the spatula. But you do it just so it's kind of creamed in nicely. And then we add 1 egg and mix that in again. Again, this doesn't have to be beaten in. You know, you just got to kind of give it a good mix in. If you are doing it with a standalone mixer, keep it on a low speed. If you whack it on high, you're just going to overbeat it and it's going to cause you problems. So, you know, with cookies, just keep everything on quite a low mix and you'll have no problems. That stage should take you a couple of minutes, and then throw in the flour. I tend to put it into one bowl, the flour, the baking powder and the bicarb. Just give it a mix in with a fork, just so that you kind of, you know, incorporating all the ingredients. So after that, then it's the good bit, I would say. It's the chocolate. It's the bits and bobs that you want to put in it. Obviously, for this, we're doing Easter cookies, so you know, mini eggs is the one, isn't it? But you can use anything really. I did a mix of mini eggs, dark chocolate and milk chocolate. You can do white chocolate, milk chocolate if you don't like dark chocolate.
See the mini eggs within the cookie here. So have you added them to that mix then, so they're then inside that cookie? Yeah,
they're cooked. They're baked in. So I just cut them in half, just so that we haven't got big hard chunks of chocolate. But you know, you can do any mix really, anything, any chocolate that you like, you can chuck in there. It's a very adaptable kind of cookie. So I mean that's pretty much it. Once you've mixed that in, again, you don't over mix it. It just needs to be mixed just so that it's, you know, combined. Any over mixing just causes problems really.
We want it to be smooth, that consistency. Do we want it to look quite smooth but thick?
No, it's cookie dough, so it's just like there's a couple of little mini videos that I've done there, and a couple of pictures as well. You want it so that it's, you know, a mound of cookie dough. Right. You know, if you keep on mixing it, then you are going to have smooth, and it's not going to be good.
We don't want smooth.
Literally seconds. As soon as that chocolate's mixed in, you stop and it's done. And then after that, it's just a case of figuring out what size you want your cookies. So, I mean, to be particular, I think mine were about 80 grams a ball of cookie dough. But you can just do it by hand. You don't have to be particular. Roll it up, place it in a dish and get it in the freezer for half an hour. This just sets it up and makes them bake a little bit better. But an essential part of it, don't bake straight away. Resist those temptations. Get it in the freezer for half an hour. And then we're good to go basically. Once they've settled, get them on a lined tray again, but that they go in the oven. And I was going to say, my setting, I have like a special cake setting on my oven, so it's quite fancy. But it's around about 170 degrees, and then I tend to do 5 minutes, twist the tray, another 5 minutes, and they should be done.
So it's literally 10 minutes in the oven then?
10 minutes in the oven. I mean, you know, obviously people's ovens, you know, they vary. Temperatures in ovens vary. So if you looking after 10 minutes and they look a bit, you know, pasty, just keep them in another couple of minutes until they get that nice kind of golden brown on the top. Again, if you check after, you know, if you have a look in the oven before 10 minutes and they're looking a little bit on the dark brown side, your oven's probably a bit too hot, get them out. But, you know, there's not a lot I can do about that one. But usually around about 10 minutes and we're done. And
then they're good to go. So basically you can create those Easter cookies in in an hour.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
So you can do your mix.
And they should be done.
Yeah, into the freezer, into the oven for 10 minutes, and jobs are good. Just go through each of those steps again for me, Laura. I won't interrupt you this time, just so we've got it for anyone watching that wants to write them down. Just give us those step-by-step guide kind of instructions.
So we have the butter and sugar. So we spend about a couple of minutes just cream the butter and sugar together. Next stage is the egg. That just goes straight in. Again, another couple of minutes on a low speed, just until it's nicely combined. The next stage is the flour and the powder, baking powder and the soda. Again, into the bowl, mix it in. It should, again, just be another couple of minutes until you see it forming into, a big kind of cookie dough ball. And then the good bit, the chocolate, the mini eggs at the end. Again, that's just like maybe 30 seconds until it's all kind of mixed in. It's a very, very quick recipe. And I think if you have all your ingredients in bowls ready to go, it just makes it an easier process again.
Okay, and then it's into the freezer. So you obviously tray them up before you put them in the freezer.
Yeah, into the freezer and then into the oven. 10 minutes in the oven and we're done. Again, all of these steps we'll have there for you to see.
Perfect. And this is a great one for families and kids to do because it's so easy.
It is, yeah, absolutely. My girls can make them. The younger ones as well. Maybe not Blake, but it is a very good recipe to make with the family. You'll have lots of fun doing it, and the results are delicious.
Okay, well, we're going to do the J Hind foolproof test on this in the coming days, and I'm going to have a go myself to see if I can master it. What's your biggest tips, Laura? We just had that recipe, which is incredible. Thank you for giving us that. For anyone that wants to start baking, who maybe hasn't explored baking as much as they'd like to in the past, what would you say to them? What do they need at home, and what advice would you give them?
Well, there's obviously a certain amount of kind of baking equipment that you definitely need to have. Spatulas and weighing scales. Weighing scales is a big one. You need these weighing scales, Jay. Mixing bowls, measuring spoons, measuring jugs. There's lots of these kind of whisks. There's a standard amount of kind of equipment that you need. You don't have to have a standalone mixer, although they are quite cheap these days. When I first started out, I had one of those £5 hand electric mixers from Argos. So I had that for a few months. That'll do. That'll be absolutely fine. And then it's just, doing your research, really. There's, as I said to you earlier, there's so many baking blogs out there now, so many tutorials. You can find anything. You can find anything out there, and step by step, far better than what I've just done. Step by step instructions on how to make, really good, delicious cakes. It's kind of no secret anymore because there's a lot of good stuff out there, and that's fine. But definitely do your research and choose good quality ingredients as well. That's a big one. Okay. That's a big one.
Listen, thank you so much for today. Again, we're obviously here for a reason. We want to raise some money for Clare House. If you can put whatever you can in, maybe you could bake some cookies and sell them. Whatever you want to do. And don't forget, if you order cookies from Laura, these Easter cookies, part of that money will go towards the fantastic Clare House. Laura, final words from you. First off, before you go, 2021, how's it looking for you? And what are your plans now with Laura's Little Bakery?
It's looking extremely busy as always, but it's time to slow down a little bit and just spend some much needed time with my family. I've got a daughter that's off to university this year, so I want to spend some quality time with her before she goes. But same as always, really, just crack on and just evolve as I always have done, Okay,
and keep doing what you're doing. And what would you like to say to anyone at Clare House, people who use Clare House, or anyone who's thinking of digging deep today and supporting Clare House?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much information out there on the charity, really, and it's a vital service that they provide. It really is. Times are always tough, but hopefully we can raise some money for this event, especially this event. Hopefully a lot of bakers will get on board as well. It's just spreading that word, isn't it? Just making more people know about a service like that for people who may need to use it as well. That's another important part of what they do, and getting the word out there. not just to raise money, but for people who actually need to use their service. So, you know, hopefully we will achieve that with what we do a little bit and just keep on going with that one.
And you know what? It's what Dan said earlier. Just keep supporting it. Just keep doing what you can do. And whether that is doing a run, there's so many of them coming back in Liverpool soon, skydives and stuff like that. I can't say I'll ever do one again in the rest of my life. I've already done that once. They will return soon as well, so you can sign up for stuff like that. And we'll put loads of info on the guideliverpool.com as well in terms of how you can continue to support Clare House, which is such an incredible place. I remember visiting the Wirral site and going in really nervous and really scared, thinking, what am I going to be hit with when I go in here? I'm going to be really upset, and completely the opposite. It was the most positive, kind of uplifting, inspiring, bright, colourful place I've ever stepped foot in. So to everyone at Clare House, keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, let's get some money in. But Laura, from Laura's Little Bakery, thank you so much for giving up your time. Can I tuck into one of these cookies now? I've been waiting for the past half an hour.
Go for it.
There we go. Oh my God. You couldn't do that in a NutriBullet. You really couldn't. Delicious. Laura, thank you so much. Get following her, Laura's Little Bakery. Thank you so much for your support.